What is up, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're going to be finally working on one of our own cars. It's going to be the 350. We're already working on everybody else's cars, so to actually find time to work on our own is actually great. We are getting through stuff. I've got a lot of things planned to do on our own cars as well. So what we are planning on doing with the 350 is we showing you a little sneak preview in one of the videos of some custom gauges that we had done. We're going to install them on the 350 today. What we may do is we may do a separate video where we change the LEDs over to some different colours. I've got some other things in mind, but I want to see how they sit with the original lights in for the gauges on the car. So without further ado, let's just bring the 350 in and jump straight in. So before you start all this, you want to be taking a picture of your gauges where they're all sat. This is for when you're putting your needles back in. So make sure you take that photo and keep it stored for reference as well, where it sits on idle and everything else. Just make sure you have that, because if you don't, you can come into some problems. So with regards to these gauges, we will show you what exactly we are putting in, but I'm sure you can guess the theme we're going for. If you know this build is a Tokyo Drift replica build that's going to be happening very soon. You need to take off this bottom shroud bit here. This covers the bolts for the actual gauges itself, the cluster. So you need to be taking them off. Do you know what it is to take them off?
No, I'm going to have a look now.
We'll have a quick check. I'll move out the way so Jack can go under and have a gander. And then we can let you know what you need if you ever want to do this on your car. But like I said as well at the beginning, what?
Phillips screwdriver.
Oh, okay. That's simple. So Phillips screwdriver or crosshead, if you're not sure. Also, like I said, we are going to change the LEDs at some point on this. Probably not in this video. We may save that for a separate one, because we can go through all the diagrams and everything on what changes, what lights behind it. You do have to basically solder new LEDs on. We do have the LEDs, so we are going to do it at some point. It just won't be in this episode. So look forward to that. We just want to see how, like I said, how they look with the standard coloured lights behind it with the orange. I may be living alone, but I still believe in love. In a similar way, I feel I'm losing my conscience. Traveling for days without my knowledge of provenance. Throughout my life, you caught me a renegade. Oh. So quickly, that you've just seen there, pulled these little plastic trims off here around it. They literally pull straight down. Once you've done the bits underneath, it's very easy just to pull that out. You need to disconnect anything that is connected to obviously allow you to get to these bolts. They are just, let me zoom in, they're just there. You can see it, there's two on either side. There is actually four. There's the one there that you can see Jack just undoing now. Then there's also one around the other side, just there as well. See it right there on the camera. Jack's about to get it now. So there's actually four that's holding this in place. So you make sure that you remove all those, and then that will allow you theoretically to lift the cluster up and move it away from the car. They look like 10mm bolts, so you'll need to get in there. That will release the cluster. So this is the plug you have to remove. That releases the whole cluster. Once you've done that, obviously you are then free to remove everything else from the cluster to replace your gauges. Now, a lot of companies do sell gauges. So the one place that we've got ours from is Spinal Studios. I'll put that up on the screen now. Absolutely awesome guy. He will go through anything you need. Give you diagrams to change the SMDs in the back, the LEDs and all that sort of stuff. So make sure you are checking him out. Make sure you are following him on his socials. He does custom gauges for any car, literally any car. So make sure you're giving him a follow. and make sure you give him a shout out. He also does a little competition as well. If you do an install guide on the gauges, he actually does end up giving you a free refund if it wins. So take up that opportunity, guys. If for any of you that wanted to start YouTube, have a go, have a bash. What can go wrong? Cluster's taken out. The screws underneath, obviously crossheads with the looks of all these. Phillips, if you're not too sure. They all need to come out so you can get this plastic bit off. The idea is to open the cluster up so we can add the new gauges. Whilst Jack is doing that, I'm going to quickly show you the new cluster that's going in. Again, custom made for us. It's one of them things where it matches the theme of what we're doing. Now, again, like I said, this is going to be a Fast and Furious replica build. We're waiting for the VXR to sell, and then we can wide body the 350 with the Veilside V3 kit. So what I'm about to do is I'm about to go in here, which is top secret. You guys cannot see this. Oh, that lighting is horrible. Wait. Oh no, now I just got a really shiny forehead. So, I'm going to show you this cluster. We're going to go back out. This is the top secret room back there. You guys can't see what's in there. Future plans and all that malarkey. So I'm going to flip the camera around and you guys can see what we have. Right, so before we go any further, this is the company that has done the gauges for us, Spinal Studios. He's on YouTube, on Instagram as well. I'll put the Instagram on the screen now for you guys to follow that. He's absolute top guy. He'll literally do anything for you. When you get one of these, you actually end up with installation guidelines, so you've got some stuff to read, like important stuff before starting and all that stuff. So that's all good. We've all read that. What we're going to do here is just check my address is not on there. My address is not on there, so we're all good. But these are the little gauges we've got. Jack, can you just do me the honours of unplugging that?
Yeah, one sec.
Okay. Please don't. So we've also got, by the way, the gauges up here. We are going to be replacing them, just so you all know. Connor's literally done nothing all day but sit on his phone for the last 4 hours. Look, he's even got, look at this, look. Follow the trail. This is how you find a wild Connor. Watch, you go round and round and round, and then you go, oh, hey up. You a bit rough? No, mate. Connor's been out, hasn't you? Sweet. Yeah, so back to this. Jack's got the gauge here. So this is one of them for the center. Let me see if we can focus this, because we don't want to focus. There we go. So this is one of the gauges for the center, all cut out on the back. This is again why we're thinking of changing the LED strips. So yeah, you can see it right there. I'm guessing you can probably decide what colour we're going to change these if we do from that, because that is pretty much close. You do get in this as well some gloves, some stickers, and some Haribo. Top man. Oh. But this is what you've been waiting for. This is the gauge that we have had made. So Tokyo Drift on this side. Obviously some Tokyo Drift art in the middle. Customised with Rusty Auto's logo on the bottom. The same with the left hand side. Just turn that light a bit down a bit. There we go. You can see that like that there. So it looks, yes, the fire. We'll actually show that in a second. But these are actually custom gauges. Absolutely awesome. You can do pretty much any design, any artwork. So again, make sure you're following him on Instagram. I'll put all his stuff in the description, his Facebook, Instagram and all that stuff. Yeah, just get yourself a free quote and enjoy. This is what it looks on the back, obviously all lasered out as well. Jack's going to put his phone behind it. In fact, use that light.
Yeah, come for that one.
And you can see what it looks like from behind. See how it's all lit up. See the flame symbol there for overheating. And you can see all the speedos and stuff like that. Looks absolutely awesome. So what we're going to do here is we're going to put this in the car with the stock lights, so the orange tinge to them. Now I want to see what it looks like with the orange tinge. That's why we're probably going to do this in 2 different videos. Let me just put this light on so you guys can see me. There we go. So what we're going to do, like I said, is do that in the 2 videos. Change the LEDs, which we already have here. Already ordered. They are here. So what we're going to do is show you how to do that. We'll show you a detailed diagram on them in a separate video and go into that quite deep, because you can change specific LEDs for specific things obviously on the cluster itself. So we're going to go and remove this cluster, take it to pieces. It's basically a principle of unscrewing screws and pulling plastic apart until you get the cluster itself out. The needle should just pull straight out, but we'll get to that as soon as we are closed. Jack, what happens when you fill up full tank?
What, in this?
Yeah.
That.
What happened? What do we wish we had?
That.
Yeah, exactly. So the front face is obviously removed now. We are just looking at how these needles come out. We thought that it was just a pull, but it's actually not. We don't think. We don't want to put too much strain on it and snap anything. So we're going to have a further investigation and look into this. This is where we've developed to so far. A little bit different. We've taken this bit off and the backing. Again, that's just 4 crosshead screws on that, and then this plastic tip trim just pulls off. Now, we believe that these do come off, but you have to be very careful. You have to apply even pressure on each side, so you want a removable tool underneath to pull it up so you don't bend the actual stems that they're on. So Jack's going to do this now, and apparently these do fly up a couple of feet.
Not with that one.
So, yeah, you need something really thin because you haven't got much room underneath there. Once that is off, then obviously you can peel back the backing off of this, which will allow us to place the new one on there. So remove one. We did it off camera just so we didn't ping anybody in the eye, but they do actually come off quite easy. So Jack's going to go ahead, start removing them all. As you can see, you can also buy new needles, just so you know as well. These ones, you can't really change them. You can change the so you can change the bulb underneath, that I know, but the needles themselves do have an orange tinge to them, as you can see already. So if you do want to change that colour completely, you need to be switching the needles as well. But again, we'll go over this in a separate video because this video is going to be quite long already. So with them being removed, that should now allow you to be able to peel back the backing. So we're going to give that a little go here and see how well that happens. So looking at this speedo here, obviously you have the bits where the needles sit on to. So it looks like we have to take these out and put them onto the new one. So they look like they just, yeah, it's literally like a little push thing. I'm hoping you guys can see that just here. But these look weird from the back. Look at that. That's strange when you compare it to the other one. So that's the old one, there's the new one. That's crazy. It's actually crazy. So let's go ahead, start switching these over. We'll cue it with a little montage of putting everything all back together. And any questions you guys have, make sure you're smashing it down below in the comments. We always try and reply to every single comment.
Been on the streets a few months. I'm trying to pick myself up. I may be living alone, but I still believe in love. And although my flaws had dragged me down on the coldest night, I'm still kicking around. Then I saw you back before my time was shortened. No, throughout my life you've called me a renegade. Oh,
So you just saw there, we did the gauges, took them apart, wrapped them. Jack wanted to learn to wrap some smaller bits, so that's why he took charge on that one. We've got the silver seal on the inside, which you saw. We are going to redo that in gloss black, or maybe do the carbon. We'll see when the time comes. It's just a little bit tricky and fiddly. We just want to get this done and see how it looks today. We'll revisit that when we change the LEDs in it, but it does look so much better with that being wrapped. So easy to do, so quick, so simple. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put this back in the 350. Connor's going to rub them two top ones out so I can just show people what you've just drawn. So please rub the top two out. Bear with us 1 second. Basically, Connor has now found the whiteboard. He's found his now meaning in life, basically. And he has decided to draw Curtis. So Curtis, this one's for you, pal. There you are, look. What's this badge thing here?
Try to draw a camera, but it can't be bothered.
Okay, and it says
I am the best editor and I can count but I cannot spell.
What does this say?
Rusty Curtis.
Rusty Curtis.
Signed it, look.
Oh, Curtis, did you do this yourself, pal? Oh, mate, come on. Where are you?
1, 3, 10, sold.
So if you recall earlier on in the video, we mentioned that you need to take a photo of your gauges. This is for a reference. So when you put in your gauges back on, you can actually get them in the correct spot. Now, there's a load of videos on YouTube of people showing you how to get these gauges back in, but we've got a pretty much simple solution, haven't we?
Yes.
Make sure the car is cold before you do all this and put it all back in. But basically, turn the key in the ignition, plug your cluster in, take your picture out, look where the fuel gauge was, push the pin back for the fuel. Then once you've done that, you need to put the RPM onto 0. There's two little dashes. It's not where you put it on that one. So he's put it. Oh, sorry, killing people. I know I did. So he's put it just here.
It sits on the pin.
Is all set to basically 0. You have to turn the key in the ignition, because if you don't, what happens is you will get a false reading. So when you turn the key properly in the ignition, if you don't do it when it's on. What was that?
I don't know.
What was that?
But I don't like it.
Okay, so sorry about that, but we keep having that weird things happening since we got back from the 10k subscriber special. I hope that picked that up on camera. It sounded like somebody was running upstairs on top of it, didn't it? We just literally left. We was like, nope, nope. So as we were saying, if you put the needles to 0 without the ignition on, what happens is you then turn the ignition on, it will sit up to 2 where it should not be. So if you turn the ignition on, place the needles in before you put the cluster back together, then that is the way that you should be doing it. So that is why we say take a reference. You can do it for the speedo. A lot of people say set your cruise control to the speedo. Yeah, set your cruise control on and put it on while you're driving. We do not recommend that. Again, that should be sat at 0 when you're not driving. So just wait. Put them all at the 0 with the ignition on, apart from your fuel. That's why we say wait for the car to be cold as well, so you can put your coolant temperature or engine temperature down to 0. Yeah, I know, it don't actually look like you need one. But yeah, so you can put your coolant temperature to 0, and then you know everything's all hunky-dory. So what we're going to do, put all this back together in a little montage, show you putting the cluster back together and putting it back into the 350. So removing the gear stick here, we're going to remove the center console. We've took the gear stick off, pulled the bit around the gear stick up, then disconnected the ribbon connector at the back. That allows you to then get to the 2 Phillips screws at the bottom of the stereo, unscrew those, and then the whole top section pulls forward. You then need to disconnect the gauges, the cells at the top. So straight away we've took the cluster out of the center. You just use a Phillips screwdriver to start taking it to pieces. Look for where the screws are on there. To remove the needles, again, refer back to the cluster, put something underneath it, pull it up gently, and then you can put the new needle holders into the new gauges. They can sit straight back in, and then you are pretty much ready to start putting it all back together. We're going to put that back together now, skip straight forward, and show you a cinematic of it finished. that's the gauges done on the 350Z. What we're going to do is probably get the SMD conversion and change them to white. As you saw, we put the light behind it at the very beginning. It looks so much better with the white. So we are going to look into doing that and getting an SMD conversion on this, and we are looking to do one on Jack's car as well. So if anybody's out there that can do SMD conversions, we're either going to try and attempt it, or we'll just get somebody else in if they want some advertisement as well for the company. So subscribe, hit that notification icon, and if you can do all that stuff, drop us a message.